The Oconaluftee Visitor Center is home to the Mountain Farm Museum. These buildings were moved here from their original locations to help preserve the Smoky Mountains way of life. At the annual Mountain Life Festival, park staff and volunteers share living history demonstrations and recreate the experience of a working mountain farm.
Went to the garden earlier this morning and picked a few things. These are our Dutch ovens, and we've not got anything in them yet, but we have a nice fire going with some coals so that we can take the coals out and put under the Dutch oven and on top of the Dutch oven to make an oven to make our cornbread shortly. I always have to keep a slop bucket in the kitchen so you know that's where all the scraps go.
It was very common to make your cornbread early in the morning. The big meal of the day was dinner, and that's what we're preparing today for Mountain Life Festival. Cornbread is essential. If we don't have enough stew, pinto greens, or whatever, we'll fill that in with cornbread.
Anybody that cooks knows you can't let the potatoes burn to the bottom, but we're not quite at a boil. So every now and then I just turn these around. That keeps them sort of warm on both sides. And these are our greens, which are looking very good.
Cornbread was a staple. It was something they probably ate every day. Cornbread could have been made in the morning, and a big pan of that could have been eaten all through the day.
I'm a fifth generation to make these. My great-grandfather made that cheer, and I put that bottom in it.
Live demonstrations include a blacksmith, whittling, and apple pressing for cider.
Put the apples in here, turn the wheel, and grind them up. And the apples are washed before we ever grind them. They're tree-picked apples. They go into this container. Then we move the container up under this press and put this big foot on it and press the juice out of it. And we catch the apple juice here. And then we put it in the crocks, and everybody helps themselves to it.
Yummy!
My name is Sylvia Idem, and I'm here to make apple butter. Apple butter was a sweetening like a jelly that was used long ago. It was an easy way to preserve the fruit so that it would last through the winter. And to make apple butter, you simply chop up your apples, put them in the pot, and cook them until they become mush. And it would have been a frolicky kind of day, together with a few neighbors and all the kids, and nobody would have to work too long. Everybody could take a turn, and at the end of the day, you had something sweet to take home with you.
What they're doing here is they're going to squeeze the molasses cane. They feed it in as the horse goes around, and it'll bust them stalks and press them. The juice will fall out into the barrel there. It'll strain through the burlap. They get the juice, and they'll strain it about 3 to 4 times and then cook it off as molasses. See, it'll come in right here. And as this comes down, they'll take a towel out and push the syrup through, the juice through. As they're doing it, they'll skim the chloroform and all the green out of it. It takes about 4 hours to cook it for molasses.
My name is David Higgins. I'm working on a little hearth broom today. There are 2 styles here. This is called a more traditional Appalachian style. The Shakers came along and did the weaving here. It started flattening brooms. Most people grew a little patch of broom corn, but if you didn't have it, you could go out in the field and gather broom sage.
This is a floor mat I did over 20 years ago. You're basically braiding the shucks into a rope. And once you get a long enough piece of rope, Then just like with a rag rug, you start coiling it and just loosely stitching that together on the back.
I love anything that's to do with the old ways. I was just born 100 years too late, no doubt in my mind.